Greetings dear friends, and welcome to a tale that will make you hold your keepsakes a little tighter. Tonight I am sharing a story from my dear friend Mabel, a warm-hearted lady from Mobile, Alabama, who ran into something downright chilling back in 2001 while working at her pawnshop. What seemed like a routine day turned into a haunting lesson about the power of sacred things. So settle in with a cozy blanket, dim the lights, and let us step into this eerie memory together. If it gives you a shiver, please tap that like button. Your support keeps these spooky stories coming, and I have plenty more for those who love a good scare. Here we go. Picture Mobile in 2001, a port city where the Gulf breeze carries salt and secrets, and old brick buildings line streets shaded by live oaks. Mabel Thompson, 66 years old, runs a small pawnshop on Dauphin Street, a cluttered little place called Thompson's Treasures. It is crammed with everything from dusty guitars to chipped teacups, glass cases glinting with jewelry and old watches. Mabel's been there for years, ever since her husband, Earl, passed, leaving her to keep the business going. She is a tough but kind woman, with a quick laugh and a knack for spotting a story behind every item that crosses her counter. The shop smells of polish and time, and she keeps a pot of coffee brewing for regulars who stop by to chat. Mabel sees all sorts in her line of work, folks pawning heirlooms to pay bills, others looking to trade junk for a quick buck. She never judges, just listens, her gray eyes sharp but gentle. Her shop's a lifeline for many, and she takes pride in being fair, even when the stories break her heart. Her daughter, June, lives across town with her husband, Frank, and their teenage son, Caleb, who sometimes helps out at the shop, sweeping floors or polishing display cases. Mabel's got a soft spot for Caleb, teaching him the trade, though he grumbles about the dusty work. One muggy Tuesday in March, the shop's quiet, just the hum of a fan and the tick of an old clock. Around noon, the bell above the door jingles, and in walks a man who fills the room. He is huge, broad as a barn door, with hands like shovels and a face weathered by years of hard work. Mabel guesses he is a dock worker or maybe a mechanic, his flannel shirt stained with grease. In his hands, he holds a silver cross, big as a dinner plate, its edges etched with delicate vines. It catches the light, heavy and old, the kind of thing you would find in a church. Mabel knows right away he is not here to browse, he is here to pawn. "Morning, sir," she says, smiling. "What can I do for you?" The man, who gives his name as Amos Reed, looks uneasy, shifting his weight. "Need to pawn this," he mutters, voice low. "It is worth something." Mabel takes the cross, feeling its heft, the metal cool and smooth. It is beautiful, clearly old, maybe an heirloom, but Amos's eyes avoid it, like he can't wait to be rid of it. She asks the usual questions, any history, any attachments. "Just family stuff," he says, shrugging. "Don't need it no more." Mabel's been at this long enough to know he is not coming back for it. Some folks pawn to survive, others to cut ties. Amos seems like the latter. She fills out the paperwork, checks his ID, and hands him $200, a fair price for the cross's weight and craftsmanship. Amos pockets the cash, nods, and leaves without a backward glance. Mabel sets the cross in a locked case, thinking it will fetch a good price when the pawn period expires. Odd fella, she murmurs to herself, sipping coffee. Caleb, who's wiping down shelves, pipes up, "That guy looked like he saw a ghost." Mabel chuckles, maybe he did, but that is his business. The day rolls on, more customers trickle in, and Amos fades from her mind, just another face in the parade of folks who pass through her door. A month later, the cross goes up for sale. It sits in the front window, gleaming under the shop's lights, a tag reading $350 clipped to its chain. Mabel polishes it daily, admiring the way it catches the sun, but nobody bites. It is too big, too heavy, not the kind of thing most folks want hanging around their neck. Caleb thinks it is creepy, says it gives him the willies, but Mabel just shakes her head. "It is just metal," she says, though she feels a strange tug when she handles it, like it is heavier than it should be. One stormy evening in April, Mabel's closing up alone. It is late, past 8 p.m., the street dark and slick with rain. The shop's quiet, just the patter of drops and the hum of the neon sign. She is counting the register when she hears a noise, a soft shuffle from the back hallway, like someone dragging their feet. Her heart skips, nobody should be there. She calls out, "We are closed, come back tomorrow." No answer, just a faint scratch at the back door, slow and deliberate, like nails on wood. Mabel's not one to spook easy, she has dealt with drunks and thieves before, but this feels different, wrong. She grabs a flashlight and the baseball bat she keeps under the counter, creeping to the door. It has a small window, barred and fogged with age. She slides it open, peering out, and freezes. There's a man outside, hunched and frail, leaning on a cane, his face gray and sunken, like he has not eaten in weeks. His eyes are wild, darting, and his hands shake as he clutches a crumpled pawn ticket. "Please," he rasps, voice barely a whisper, "give me my cross. I will pay anything." Mabel squints, heart pounding, and realizes with a jolt, it is Amos Reed. The giant from a month ago is gone, replaced by this skeletal figure, half his size, skin hanging loose, clothes swallowing him. "Amos, what happened to you?" she gasps, but he cuts her off, voice desperate. "The cross, please. I need it." Mabel's hands tremble as she takes the ticket, his fingers brushing hers, cold as marble. "As soon as I sold it, I got sick," he says, words tumbling out. "Doctors don't know what is wrong. Lost half my weight. I am dying, I know it. Then I remembered the cross. It was blessed, in a holy place, I never should have let it go." His eyes glisten, not with tears but something deeper, fear raw and primal. "I will never sell it again, just give it back." Mabel stunned, her mind racing. She unlocks the case, grabs the cross, and hands it over, not even asking for payment. Amos clutches it to his chest, muttering thanks, and shuffles into the rain, cane tapping the pavement. The door swings shut, and Mabel's left standing, heart hammering, the shop suddenly too quiet. She locks up fast, drives home, and pours a glass of tea, hands still shaky. That cross meant something, she thinks, something bigger than she understood. The next day, she tells Caleb, who's wide-eyed. "That is freaky grandma," he says. "Maybe it was cursed." Mabel swats his arm, "Don't talk nonsense," but she is not so sure. She starts noticing things, the shop feels colder, especially near the window where the cross sat. A customer mentions feeling watched one day, and Caleb swears he hears whispers when he is alone in the back. Mabel tries to laugh it off, but at night, she dreams of Amos, his gaunt face staring through the shop's glass, the cross glowing in his hands. A few weeks later, Mabel runs into Amos at the grocery store, and her jaw drops. He is better, not back to his old self but stronger, color in his cheeks, weight filling out his frame. He spots her, nods, and walks over, the cross hanging around his neck, tucked under his shirt. "Miss Mabel," he says, voice steady, "I owe you. That cross saved me." She asks what happened, and he hesitates, eyes distant. "My grandpa gave it to me," he says. "Said it was blessed at a shrine in Jerusalem, meant to protect our family. I thought it was just a story, sold it when times got tough. Soon as I did, I felt wrong, like something was eating me from the inside. Doctors found nothing, but I knew. Got it back, and it is like the sickness let go." Mabel listens, goosebumps rising. "You keep that cross close," she says, and he nods, serious. "Never letting it go again," he says. They part ways, but the encounter sticks with her. She starts researching, digging into old books at the mobile library with her friend Miss Edith, a retired teacher who loves local lore. They find stories of sacred relics, objects tied to faith that carry a kind of power, protecting their owners or cursing those who misuse them. Edith tells her about a local legend, a preacher in the 1800s who blessed artifacts to guard against evil, said to linger in Mobile's old families. "Maybe Amos's cross was one of those," Edith says, eyes gleaming. Mabel shivers, thinking of that gaunt face at her door. The shop never feels the same. Customers complain about a chill near the front window, and Caleb refuses to work alone after dark, saying he hears footsteps in the hall. Mabel starts keeping a small cross of her own, one Earl gave her, tucked in her apron pocket. She notices other strange things, items in the shop move slightly overnight, rings turned backward, a watch stopped at 2 a.m. One night, closing up, she sees a shadow in the window, tall and thin, gone when she blinks. Her heart races, but she whispers a prayer, clutching her cross, and it does not return. Mabel talks to her pastor, Reverend Hayes, who listens quietly. "Some things carry more than metal or stone," he says. "Faith can bind a spirit, good or bad. Keep your cross close, and pray for protection." She does, burning sage in the shop, sprinkling salt at the doors, a trick Miss Edith swears by. It helps, but the air stays heavy, like the shop remembers Amos's desperation. Caleb begs her to sell the place. "You are too old for this, Grandma," but Mabel's stubborn. "This shop is my life," she says, though she starts closing early, avoiding the dark. In 2004, Mabel retires, passing the shop to June. She moves to a condo near the bay, hoping the sea air will wash away the unease. It does not. Dreams haunt her, Amos's sunken eyes, the cross glowing, a shadow tapping at her window. She wakes to faint scratches on her walls, barely visible, like nails dragged lightly. She hangs crosses everywhere, keeps a Bible by her bed, and prays nightly, feeling something watching. The old shop changes hands, but new owners complain of cold spots, whispers, a feeling of being followed. In 2020, a worker says he saw a thin figure in the window at night, gone when he looked twice. Now Mabel's 91, in a senior home in Fairhope, her room a sanctuary of crosses, prayer books, and salt lines. She is frail but bright, still baking for friends, still telling stories. I sat with her last summer, sharing lemonade, and she told me this, her voice soft but firm, her fingers tracing her cross. "Never give up what is sacred," she said. "It holds more than you know." She hears taps at night sometimes, faint, like a reminder, and she prays, keeping the shadows at bay. So friends, that is the story. It taught me to respect the things we hold dear. They might just be our shield against the dark. If it spooked you, tap that like button. More eerie tales are waiting if you do.